Okay, hello everyone. Today we can talk about something called Chaos Mesh. Chaos Mesh is actually one of the powerful tool. It's an incubating CNCF project. A lot of companies have started using this particular Chaos Mesh. So if you are running your entire production environment in Kubernetes, you want to check whether your entire environment is healthy and you want to identify any loopholes. You can inject the faults by using a chaos mesh and you can run it. You can identify the gap and you can fix a lot of things. So without wasting any time, we can get into the video. So who uses chaos mesh? RabbitMQ, VBank, Peng, Sharet, Tencent, SJ, Vault. Too many companies have started using the chaos mesh now. So these companies have started using this open source one to identify the gap and loopholes and a lot of things. This is pretty high level overview, what you can say, the architecture about how exactly the chaos mesh is embedded in Kubernetes environment. Uh, it's a kind of what you can say. When you install the chaos mesh, it will create a lot of custom source definitions, a lot of pods, and on top of that, it will run as a kind of the sidecar proxy. I don't want to talk more about it. It will run just a sidecar proxy. It has separate dashboard, and you can create a lot of configurations, like a lot of templates, and you can push it. So basically, templates talks about defaults. Okay, so it's a kind of separate management tool. uh, what I can say, like it's a management tool. There you can write a faults, you can write a lot of configuration, and you can push it, and it will make sure it will identify which port to inject a fault. A lot of things can do it. Okay, so first we have to understand what is called Chaos Mesh. Okay, it's an open source cloud native chaos engineering platform that allows you to stimulate various type of faults and failures in distributed system to test its resilience and uh, robustness. Chaos engineering is a technique that involves intentionally injecting the controlled chaos into a system to expose its weakness and potential failures. With the goal of improving its reliability and resilience, Chaos Mesh provides a platform for engineers to run their experiments in a safe and controlled environment. That's what I've told you earlier. So it provides a lot of dashboards. Its UI is user friendly, and you can create a lot of templates. You can push it. Okay, with Chaos Mesh, you can stimulate a wide range of failures scenarios such as network partition, node failure, container crash, and more. You can also specify the scope of the experiment and the target components you want to test. Okay, this is very simple. It talks about a lot of faults. We in the later on the video we will talk about what is fault and what are the different type of faults, how you can inject the faults, and a lot of things that we can talk about. This is the things it talks about. Okay. KSMesh supports variety of cloud-native technology, including Kubernetes, Docker, OpenShift, and can easily integrate with other cloud-native tools and platforms. It's pretty simple, right? Okay. It offers a web-based dashboard to visualize and manage your experiment and to provide detailed reports and metrics to help you analyze and understand the impact of the faults and failure you stimulate. Okay, fair enough. I think these points are pretty simple. I think no need of any very big explanation about it. Fault injection. Fine. Fault injection. So there are a lot of faults. Basically, fault is talk about like you have, for example, you have one server where you have a mount. Mount is currently consuming 20 percentage. Suddenly you push something and it becomes 100 percentage, and you want to make sure how exactly your environment is behaving, how exactly your app is behaving, how exactly the request is heading to the app, what kind of issues that user is seeing. So these kind of things that you can test it, and you can identify the gap, and then you can identify what it can be remediated if 100 percentage is uh, mount, and how we can do a remediation, and uh, how we can make the app to route to different or good node without having a big outage, We can think a lot of things from the SRS perspective, right? And this is all about the chaos engineering. So there are certain faults. For example, pod chaos is all about to stimulate the pod failure, such as it restart the pod, it restart the node, it will kill some pods, and certain containers fail specifically, certain container failures it will create actually. So these are all about the pod chaos. There are certain network chaos as well. It will stimulate the network failures, packet drops, packet loss, network latencies, network partitions, and all those things it will touch and it will produce it. Okay, DNS chaos is all about like stimulates the DNS failure, such as passing the failure of DNS domain name and wrong IP address returned. Okay, and HTTP chaos is all about stimulate the HTTP communication failure, such as HTTP communication latency. And stress chaos is all about sudden increase of CPU, sudden increase of the memory, RAM, sudden increase of mount. IO chaos talks about like stimulates the IO failure of an application file, such as IO delay, read and write failures. Time chaos is basically about stimulate the time jump exceptions. Kernel case is all about like kernel failures such as exception on application and memory allocation. Mm, Sudden high CPU like high memory, the kernel will get crash and it will automatically restarts, and all those things about the basic resource faults. Okay, there are some other faults as well. The platform level faults, like if you're running your environment in AWS or Google Cloud Platform, you want to restart the EC2 nodes and all those things, or it comes under the cloud native environment. Okay, there are some application faults. The application faults are quite limited, which is only up to the Java application. JVM chaos, it's all about the JVM, the application failure, such as the function called delay, JVM heap memory. If heap memory is full, how it throws an out of memory exception, how exactly your application has to react, and how exactly it has to restart, and all those things comes under the application faults. Okay, chaos workflows. Chaos workflows is all about like how exactly you're going to inject the faults. There are certain methods are there. Orchestrated serial chaos experiment, orchestrated parallel chaos experiment, supports checking experimental status and results, supports pause chaos experiment, supports using YAML file to determine and manage the chaos workflows, support using the web UI to define and manage the chaos workflows. I think the first 2 points are quite relevant. Serial chaos experiment, parallel chaos experiment, because I checked the documentation, I verified these two experiments are what you can say, like it's widely used. The serial chaos experiment is like you inject one fault and then like you will pause for 10 minutes and then you inject another fault. Basically, you inject CPU fault and you wait for 10 minutes and and then you will delete some pod. Basically, it's a false. Okay, it's kind of you are defining the template basically with time driven. There are some other the chaos experiments are there, which is called parallel chaos experiment. What it does it like you can inject one fault and parallelly you can inject another one fault. This is called parallel. You can inject 10 faults in parallel. Serials is like you can inject 10 faults in serial way, why step by step. Okay. These are the things I have today. If you like this video, please do hit like button, subscribe it. If someone is looking for this kind of content, please do share it, create a good karma. We'll see you on the another video. Thank you so much.